of the F1 2017 NORL Championship. We are here today at Brazil, and today is the day where titles could be decided, and a man better to talk about that than anybody is the man who runs, organises and indeed founded this league. Welcome along to the commentary box, everyone, once again, Mr. Valerio Campagnari.
Hi Toby, it's a great pleasure to be here again. Hello everyone who is watching. Yeah, what a great event it's gonna be. I mean, we could have a title decided today. The track is great. I mean, every driver loved the circuit. It's one of the great classics in the F1 calendar. So yeah, it is gonna be an interesting race. We of course have just one more race to go after this one, and this could be crucial for the championship battle, because we have Chata, who is in need to gain 10 points on KB Killerzone today to stand a chance to win the title in Abu Dhabi, but it's gonna be a very tough job for him. We're gonna discuss it throughout the race, all the points, all the statistics. Now let's focus on qualifying, Toby.
Yeah, as part of any race weekend, we all know that qualifying is very important. Not so much here, lots of overtaking usually occurring at Brazil, albeit a lot less ever since the 2017 cars were introduced. A lot of downforce creating a lot of dirty air. And on a track like this, it usually promotes a lot of following in close action, but with these dirty air cars, that's a little bit difficult. Francis Jessica, I think, is going to be the first man to set a time in the session. Across the line he will come. And no, okay, so the timing screen showed he was on a lap, but obviously that was wrong. But cars out on their outlets, getting ready to start their laps. I think at least Francis Jessica is the first man to start his lap. So we'll keep an eye on the Scotsman in the Sauber. And we'll talk about qualifying positions, because I'm sure Valerio has worked out the situations in which the championship needs to be won by KB Killerzone today. And we know he's a very strong man in terms of qualifying. Maybe that's one of his strengths that he's used over the course of this season to get ahead of Chazza. Chazza's more of a man that does work in the race. It's a lot more easy for Chazza to be consistent and strategic in the race, to gain back the positions that he loses in terms of a raw pace lap over the course of a single lap, Valerio. So qualifying is important here, as it is every other race, but maybe not so much important, and the man who usually can climb his way up thanks to the alternate strategy will be wanting to, I'd say, at least aim for a top 10 today.
That's very true, Toby. I mean, Chata has won 4 races this season. KB won just 3 and also missed 2 races. So that highlights how Chata good is in converting, you know, his maybe not great qualifying place in great performance in the race, but also highlights how good KB was in being consistent throughout the season, especially in the middle part, and in this last half of the season he was really good, really consistent, being so many times on the podium, almost every race, that despite the fact he missed 2 Grand Prix in Monaco and Spain, he's comfortably leading the championship now with 1 win less than Chazza.
So there you go, those are your scenarios, and it's literally going to be an all-out dogfight, I think, today. KB Killerzone currently sitting in 3rd place, only a 10th of a second separating the top 3 at the moment, Lizard, KLC and KB Killerzone respectively. KLC, let's just quickly have a chat about while we watch the cars go around Valeria. He's come in and he's shown flashes of brilliance, like he is today, currently in P2, and looking to improve on that furthermore as he comes up back to the line. We'll see if he improves just really quickly before we get that discussion going up to the line. Hugging the inside line, that's very interesting. Unable to improve on that occasion. He did actually improve, but just half a tenth, and look how close he is to Blizzard. But he's shown flashes of brilliance, but when it comes into the racing and stuff, a lot of drivers have complained he's over-aggressive in both his attacking and defending. And it seems to be, to me personally, his consistency lets him down quite a lot as Cliffy takes provisional pole. But he's, like I say, showing flashes of brilliance, currently battling for pole position. But he really needs to learn to just calm down on that first lap, Valeria, because you can't win a lap. You can't win a race on that one, you can only lose it.
I sort of agree on that. I mean, this driver is very fast, is also very young, so he will surely build on a racecraft year after year, and with experience, you know, all those things like being clean on every move he makes, leaving room, not being too aggressive when it's not needed, all those things are gonna come with time. The positive thing is that he's very fast. He has, as you said, he's shown flashes of brilliance, and his pace is terrific when he can put everything together. And yeah, as you said, his racecraft is still something he needs to work on. But we have a discussion together, me and him. We had a nice, good chat. And yeah, I mean, I told him, listen, I've years of experience. I've been racing so many different categories, so many different cars for so many years. Won races, won championship. I can tell you, just learn to back off a bit. Learn to be patient, you know, when you're overtaking cars, when you have to defend, maybe lose a position and come back later. You have the pace, so you just do not need to do everything immediately. If you have the pace, results will come, and this guy definitely have the pace he needs to be a race winner and a title contender in future seasons. So I'm sure, and every one of us hopes, that he will just learn to keep things a little bit cleaner on the track. But if he does so, he's going to be a real factor in the future seasons.
Yes, future seasons we'll get onto in a moment, because that's an interesting one. Just quickly turning our attention into the live chat today, we have a man who may just be sacrificing his status as reigning NORL F1 champion. Christopher Pettersson, aka Krill Pills, as most of you will know him as, says, title decisive moment today. Will it be alive to the last round? He can't wait to see. So the man who will be sacrificing that reigning champion spot, not bitter, not wishing that he competed, and he's just enjoying it. He's put his feet up, and he's enjoyed watching these guys, and rightly so. These guys have definitely been worthy of taking the championship, and I would have loved to see how Krill Pills would have handled this season, as he's a very interesting driver. But speaking of future seasons, we've had a little bit of a controversy lately, haven't we, Valeria, in terms of drivers beginning to butt heads a little bit, especially that of the man who's on provisional pole and the man who could win the title today. In KB Killerzone and Cliffy has started banging heads a little bit over each other's racecraft, I think. And Cliffy says that you wait until next season when I actually practice and I'm in the championship, and then I'll show you what I've got. So Cliffy could very much be one to watch, and could be the one in the position this time next year, Valerio, in terms of winning that title. But Cliffy really getting het up for the next season.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, that's the case when you have so many competitive, fast drivers. You know, we had six different drivers winning races this season, which is probably the highest number we ever had in NORL F1. So yeah, that's obviously the case when you have so many top drivers fighting each other. And but this is great. I mean, this is something everyone looks for. To have such a competitive field, to have so much unpredictability in our races, and this is great. As you said, some of these drivers like Blizzard, like Cliffy, they joined mid-season, and so they do not stand a chance, unfortunately, to fight for the championship, but they are there every race fighting for the race win. So yeah, this looks very promising for next year. If those guys are gonna come back, it's gonna be a thrilling fight for the championship in F1 2018. And let me tell you that you mentioned Christopher Pettersson. Hi mate, thanks for watching us tonight. And it's great to have you here because, yeah, as you said, Toby, this guy has won the last 2 championships, and he was one of the fastest drivers I ever met. Really consistent, really fast, rarely make mistake, almost never make mistake. And yeah, I can't wait to have him back on track with us, hopefully next season. But I heard rumors he's gonna join the next series NORL will run on Project Cars 2, the Endurance Championship. So yeah, I can't wait to see this guy back on the racetrack because he's a living legend. I mean, this guy is so fast, really.
Athletics Squad 2 has retired from the session. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1. We'll quickly have a flick through, and see if we can find that. And I think it's just the likes of, I think that's JD7 going pretty slowly, as I think he's ran out of fuel after the lap that put him into 4th position. But look how close he is to KLC, just 0.005 of a second down on the Williams driver. But future seasons are going to evolve. We're going to have, unfortunately, I think we're going to have some drivers dropping out, as well as these new drivers coming in. Very unfortunate to say that you're one of them, being such a veteran of this league, likely to drop out. And I think I've heard a few birdies elsewhere say that the second McLaren of Callum J. Spencer is looking to transition more into the PC side of sim racing. So just something that happens eventually. These birds grow their wings and they have to fly out of the nest. KLC actually retires from the session after setting a 1.8.5, Valeria. 6/10 of a second to second place, but Cliffy out on a lap as well, just got a little bit distracted by some traffic. Will that be detrimental? He'll have one lap after this if he has enough fuel to do so. We'll try to keep an eye. We've got the little timing up on the top right of your screen there. You will be able to see his sector times, and he's backed off. The traffic has cost Cliffy on that lap so far. We have yellow flags in sector 2 now, and I think that is for more backmarkers. It is for the likes of Ollie Flavel trying to get out of the way. And a lot of thing I want to point out as well, Valeria, is that with these new guys, they're struggling to learn the correct way, I think, to let cars through, as Callum J. Spencer has retired from the session, and it looks like he's actually had a crash because he's got no front wing and he's reversing out of the wall. He's now in the middle of the track, and I hope for everybody else's sake that he's currently invisible, because that would be quite massive if he wasn't. Cliffy begins his final lap then for his challenge on pole. Blizzard coming up to the final sector. We'll keep our eye on Blizzard because he's the next car to come across the line, and we'll have to see if this man can take pole. He's taken pole in spectacular fashion so many times, the Ferrari driver, coming off the back of a string of wins. He's had a really good run since joining the NORL, and here he comes up to the line. Will he take pole position? Oh, no, he won't. Second place, a 10th of a second slower than KLC, and he'll be beating himself up in that car. He won't be happy with that, but now we have to turn our attention once more to Cliffy, because Cliffy is the next man, I believe. No, he's not. KB Killerzone, the man who could win the championship today here, Valeria, is the next man to cross the line, and he's a 10th and a half up on pole.
Yeah, I'm running on board with Chaza. He's currently in the middle sector. He's currently sitting in P13. Not what he needs if he wants to have any chance to fight KB at the front. But he just retired from the session. He likely had a lap invalidated or made a mistake, and he's gonna start a race in P13. Oh. That's really something really bad for his championship hopes.
KB Killerzone takes third place at the DEF, and Cliffy cannot improve. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've all said and done, I believe, unless Ollie Flavel has anything spectacular to pull out. It is KLC taking his first ever pole position in the NORL. A little bit of a disappointing performance in terms of Cliffy and KB Killerzone on their final laps. I think they'll be a little bit upset that they weren't able to challenge more, and that's Ollie Flavel off in the grass. So I think that is confirmation then. KLC takes its maiden pole position, and Valeria, you've seen a lot of people come in and take their maiden poles through the various series of NORL. Does it get any better to watch every time you see someone else rise from the ashes and look to be a future talent?
Well, just as we were talking about him, you know, being a fast driver, he surprises everyone and set pole position for the very first time. So congratulations to him. He just beated very fast drivers, and maybe someone playing it a bit safe, knowing the championship is at stake. Talking of KB, I don't know, but their time are really close, and so we are set for a great race. And yeah, as you said, let's see if KLC can translate his terrific pace in something very good in the race. You know, to win a race you need consistency, you need to be precise, make no mistakes. It's gonna be tough for him to keep cool, but let's see. It's gonna be a good test for his skills today.
Yeah, of course. So, turning our attention just a little bit back to the chat, we have a lovely comment from ex-NORL racer, more in the Project Car side than the F1 side, but he did compete in F1 for about a season and a half, and that is GL8991. The Northern Irishman was actually my teammate in F1 2016 NORL and Formula C NORL of the original Formula C, not this season. And he says that Valeria is very well spoken on the stream and he loves the commentary style coming from us today. So thank you for the kind words, GL8991, and it'll be nice to hopefully see GL8991 return to racing one day. He was very fast in Formula C and challenged me for race wins a lot. So I'm able to see his racecraft, you know, and being able to handle pressure is pretty good. He didn't, like me, he didn't really transition to the F1 physics as well as some of the other guys did. But it seems a lot of the Project Cars guys who are fast on Project Cars struggle on this game. That's how different the handling styles are. But nevertheless, Thank you for the kind words from GLA991. So here is your qualifying results. It is KLC taking pole position by a 10th.5 ahead of Blizzard, making it a Williams on the front row. And KB Killzone will come up in third. A very good day for him as he looks to take the championship away from Chazza, who is out of the points as he will begin. Cliffy will line up fourth, and JD7 makes a return to form, starting P5. Great effort from Francis Jessica and Anil Tanovic to take the fourth row of the grid there. Ollie Flavel, P8, Maverick, P9, and Nibbler, P10 for Red Bull. And that is your top 10, Valeria, as we get ready to go into the race and get our formation lap underway. What is it to look out for today?
Once again, we have Chazza really out of position. That guy has got tremendous pace in the race. So, yeah, we always need to skip those things, you know, just not to get our video taken down. Unfortunate, pretty weird. But yeah, talking of Chazza, it's this guy. Oh, we have rain again, like Mexico last week. Wow, this is gonna spice things up.
Very, very interesting. So, out of recent serving memory, Chazza has been okay in the rain. He hasn't been, standout. He hasn't been below par. He's just been okay. He's been about the same consistency level. KB Killzone as well in the rain has seemed about the same. I think they're both okay in the rain. Standout performers in the rain are quite rare, but a lot of these new guys still yet to prove themselves, so they'll be looking out. Is there anyone you can think of, Valeria, who is standout in these conditions?
I definitely have to think about Cliffy. I think he won. I think he won the race in Singapore with the rain. He was very quick in Malaysia as well with the rain. We are having a lot of rainy race late this season. We almost had no rain in the first half. Now we're having all wet races. It's pretty strange. I have to be fair with you. I was hoping for a dry race to see the true pace of every single driver, but rain is yet another test of your skills, of your nerves, and this is gonna put all of them to the ultimate test. And just let me tell, thanks to Gareth Lennon in the chat. It's great to have you watching. It's great to have so many former NORL drivers watching the stream tonight, and as always I wish to meet them on track again one day, as you said, maybe on Project Cars 2 where I'm still racing, and just to point out, leading the championship as well. So yeah, let's just now focus back on F1, of course, and it's gonna be a really tricky start. The run to turn 1 is very short. The cars will be bunched up. We might see some pieces of carbon fiber flying.
Now, the last time of some proper rain that we saw at Brazil in real life strikes my mind back to the race of 2012, which I'm sure you will remember very well, because in my opinion 2012 was the best season we've had for a long time, probably since the likes of 2007 and 2008. So 2012 was a very good season, and we saw what the rain and Brazil, when they come together, what they could do for the race. Of course, Sebastian Vettel was spun out on the first lap and then went on a mega drive to get back into position and win the championship. Could we see something like that today with KB Killzone? Wouldn't that be something? But Chazza has some work to do himself to get up from P13. But the rain can throw up anything, as Brazil has been a bit famous for its crashes, and especially the race this year, where a lot of drivers almost pinned it in the wall. It was actually 2016, I apologise. But here we go then, for the 5 red lights. That could be the title deciding race. We go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. It is lights out, away we go. Who has got the better start from where I think it might just be Blizzard. Blizzard looking to challenge into turn 1. We have cars swarming around in the background. Blizzard on the inside. KLC on the outside will hold it for now. Look at Francis Jessica going all the way around the outside of Cliffy to try and get the inside now. We had a car going a little bit slippery, and the all puts file back into single file. We've got some crazy stuff in the background as JD7 has had a spin coming out of the opening corners, as Chazza has lost 3 positions as well. Maybe a case of being better safe than sorry. We turn our action back to the front of the field, because now Blizzard trying to have a go at KLC once again, but he's coming under a little bit of pressure from KB Killzone in the Haas in the background as well. We've got more cars going side by side. That's Anil Tanovic and Ollie Flavel, teammates swapping positions in the background there. Ragnar up the inside of Nibbler, going to try hold that. That's not Nibbler, that's Maverick, my apologies. And we can see Seppi makes a move. But Kevin Jacobs has a spin in the background, and he has gone around, and he will now have to let JD7 back through before he can get back underway. The top three keep their positions, but that's about it, because everything else is going off as Ragnar goes up the inside of Maverick, and this is lap one well underway, Valeria.
Terrible start for Chaza. I mean, JD spun and collected Chaza. He had to slow down massively. I lost so many positions, dropped to the very back of the grid. But good job from KLC to retain the lead on the first lap. But we have Blizzard so close behind him. But now it's gonna be even harder for Chaza to make his way back through the field.
Callum Spencer trying to make a move on Nibbler as he tried to make a move on the sister car of the Toro Rosso. Nibbler goes very wide. Is that going to allow a switchback manoeuvre to be set up by Callum Spencer coming on the run into turn 3? He'll take the outside line, trying to do a Max Verstappen and try find that extra grip out there. Not going to happen on this occasion. Chaza looks like he's trying to size up a move on Seppi. Will he go up the inside? Yes, he will. On board with the man who could win the championship. And he's going to have to do more than that, because he actually forced Seppi off wide. Seppi lets him through anyway. That is job done for Chaza. That's another position, but he has to find about 13 more to really be challenging here today. Look at the gaps between second, third, fourth and fifth, all following each other like a nose trim. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Who is that? I'm sure we'll find them shortly. Who's just gone off, and it's Galactic Score 2. Went for a trip through the grass, and now he almost comes back on and cuts off Kevin Jacobs. Kevin Jacobs didn't know where to go as Galactical 2 gets the rear end out again. Blizzard has lost 2 positions during all of that. I'm not sure if you caught that, Valeria, but the Ferrari has dropped from 2nd to 4th.
Yeah, that's very true. And Cliffy and KB Killerson, as a result, they did gain 1 position. KB Killerson is gonna be very happy in that Haas, now trailing the race leader KLC. And we have moved from an attempted overtake, and Blizzard take the positions over Cliffy. I was just about to say Cliffy was very good in the rain and got a position over the Ferrari. They just swapped position. And Francis Jessica is coming very close behind him. The top 5 cars, they're so close together, anything can happen. Brazil is a great track for overtaking, great track for racing in general, but with the rain it's even better if it's possible. It also always provides great racing. You were mentioning before the 2012 season, but I also remember 2008. I also remember back in 2003, I think, when Fisichella won his very first race for Jordan. Absolute chaos. So rain in Brazil, that's a terrific mix, and we're seeing some great action today.
I'm sure it will give us a great title scenario, because as it stands, KB Killerzone is looking to get first away from KLC. I'm sure that would really help him, if not solidify his title win here today. So he'll be looking to try and get past the Williams, as the Williams wanting to get his maiden victory. So I'm sure he'll be fighting him a little bit harder in the background. We can see another group that's close together is 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th, as Chaz has found his way up to 11th and now looks to try to chip his way into the points. KB Killerzone sets the fastest lap of the race, and we've had Blizzard come under a little bit of pressure. Look how close KB Killerzone is now to KLC. Will he have a run into turn 3? Because he's been closer than he has been in a while. We'll have to see who gets the better drive out of there, and I think KB Killerzone got the better drive. He's now in the slipstream. I'm sure he'll be in Rich Red's going to look to pull to the inside and make the move. He's got to be careful, because this is championship defining stuff. Look at KLC fighting it on the outside, refusing to give the position away. Now KB Killerzone will have the inside in a move similar to Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button in that very race of 2012 we're talking about. KB Killerzone backs out and gives the position to KLC, and we can see the mind games of being in a championship winning position are coming into play as KB Killerzone is having to succumb to that defense of the Williams, Val.
KLC knows he can push hard, because KB will not risk everything. He doesn't want to lose a nose, a front wing, or worse, crash into a wall. So he can push hard, maybe even a bit harder than he normally would. But KB probably has a little bit more pace, because he's just trailing the Williams. But yeah, he has to be careful. And meanwhile, Chaza made a beautiful move on the inside of Nibbler into turn 1 to get P10.
Great stuff by Chaza to find himself in the points. He's actually just only a tenth of a second behind Dapid now. We'll switch to that camera. Is he going to be able to make another move into turn 1? This is great stuff from Chaza, being the Sebastian Vettel in that Fernando Alonso-esque battle we saw in 2012 in gaining up positions, but again, similar situation to KB Killer Zone and KLC. He knows the championship can be lost today, and hence he's been a little bit more careful in the cars he's fighting. And Daffyd knows that, and he's using that to his advantage, and causing Chazza to just be held up a little bit for the time being. But Chazza looking mighty in the rain, as we said. He was only okay. We might have misjudged that a little bit, because he's closing in on Anel Tanovic and Daffyd, and could find himself in P8 sooner rather than later, as the top five are still nose to tail. And it's interesting because KLC getting a little bit of a slide through there. The Williams losing a little bit of traction. KLC might be giving a little bit indication to KB, sorry, not KLB, to come and have a look again. I'm sure KB will be tempted by that as Cliffy starts to make gains on Blizzard once again.
The top five are all together. Battle of nerves now. You have to be perfect in these conditions. Make no mistake. Keeping the slipstream of the car ahead. Just try not to be distracted by the spray. Do not hit the curbs too heavily, otherwise you're gonna lose traction. Look at KLC, how defending he was on the pit straight. And yeah, just mentioning Olli Flavel in the Force India finally managed to have a clean start of the race. He's now sitting comfortably in P6. And at a big gainer, we have Daffyd gain 3 positions. Chazza as well as make a good comeback. And Seppi from P17, I believe, from last place on the grid is now in P14, and he's keeping behind quite a big name, JD7, the guy who won most races this season, 5 times a race winner in 2017. Quite remarkable.
Yeah, there's possibly some damage on that McLaren after a spin, but a great job nonetheless. And Daffyd is playing absolute mind games here, Val. Chazza was able to sneak one past, and Daffyd knew he could just dive bomb from a couple 100 meters back and get the position, because he knows Chazza's in that position. And so Chazza just dove out of the way to not make contact, and Daffyd gets P9 back. Huge mind games going on as there's Chazza on the inside. He makes contact with Daffyd. That's not playing it safe from Chazza. He's getting a little bit fed up at that Toro Rosso now as he tries to go around the outside of this corner. Daffyd wheel bangs and squeezes him back out, and this is detrimental stuff for a man that is fighting for championship life here today. And he is super close to Daffyd and looking to get a move up the inside, but mind games being played all the time. Great stuff by Daffyd to know this, and great stuff from Chazza to not get himself wiped out. Chazza looks to the outside for turn 1 now. Francis Jessica makes a move on Cliffy, and Daffyd can just break super late on the brakes, but is that going to allow Chazza to get the switch back for the run to turn 3? We'll ride on board with Chazza now. Is he going to be able to? Look, he's almost pushing the Toro Rosso through as they get the run into turn 3. He'll look to the inside surely and make his presence known so he can make a clean move, but look at that, Daffyd so much quicker in a straight line and has to settle back down again, does Chazza. Mind games galore, but we should turn our attention to the front, Valeria, because there has been a change of the lead in favour of KB Killerzone.
That's quite a significant change. Yeah, you can see Chazza was giving everything, but so is KB. He took the lead from KLC, and now he's probably gonna try and push a bit harder, see if he can unleash his pace and build a little gap to be comfortable in the lead. And we will see if KLC... Oh, we have a yellow flag. Someone has crashed out, and his Galactic Skull in the Toro Rosso has spun off. And I think it's... Yeah, it's Sector 2, yeah? It's the beginning of Sector 2. He lost a lot of time while Kevin Jacobs went to the pit. But let's focus back on the
KLC
leaders.
in the pits. Sorry to cut you off there, Valeria, but KLC has come into the pits, as has Francis Jessica.
Quite important. Yeah. They're probably running out of tires. That's pretty early in the race, but probably they have been pushing so hard. They've been wearing out tires so fast.
They're going on to the wet tires.
Wow, so the rain is getting worse. Yeah, you can see there is more rain, there is more spray. So this is a crucial moment in the race, because KB is leading the race, but his closest competitors just headed into the pit for full wet tires. So let's see if he responds on this lap.
Yeah, Chazza didn't pit either. That could have been huge if Chazza pitted, but Chazza didn't either. Kevin Jacobs actually was the first man to make the call, but as he was so far back, Galactic Skull 2 is out of the race. He's lost a wheel in Sector 3, and he's had an accident very similar to the one Max Verstappen almost had. If you can cast your mind back to 2016, Valeria, where he got sideways and was just able to keep it out of the wall. Galactical was not able to keep it out of the wall and is out with a front wheel missing on that Toro Rosso. Could that trigger a safety car? I'm not sure. Blizzard almost losing control of his car in Sector 3. The rain is definitely getting worse, and will this be the moment where KLC is able to snatch the lead back from KB Killzone? Let's see. I'll hand the microphone back to my man Valeria and see if KB Killzone decides to pit. No, he does not.
That's strange because it's clear the rain is getting heavier and heavier. We have seen a car on the intermediate crash out in the fastest part of the circuit. We know from real life as well that that's a very tricky part when you start to rain hard. The car loses the back end and just slam into the wall. And that's what happened to the Toro Rosso of Colin McAllister, aka Galactic Skull. So we can see now that probably drivers on the full wet tires will have an advantage this lap and the upcoming laps. So that's pretty strange that the other leaders, they did not head it into the pit lane, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna start to feel the car less stable, and if they start to slide too much, they start to get scared. They will surely head into the pit this lap because they will know what is happening around them.
Interesting that Seppi has pitted, and it appears he's pitted for more intermediates. Interesting call by the Sauber team there. Chaza, meanwhile, is now hounding Anel Tanovic. And these look like the conditions that Chaza is thriving on. Maybe a Jensen Button style S drive. We know how good Jensen was at being able to, as KLC gets past Ragnar, that's one car he needed to pass to mount a challenge on KB. But in the style Jensen Button was able to drive so good in these interchanging conditions where everyone's thinking, is it time for wets? Is it not? And Chaza seems to be pulling out the JB tactics to have himself at such good pace, because he's climbed up from P9 to P7 in the number of laps. Arguably, Daffyd pitted and got out of his way, but Chaza will now line up Anel Tanovic. Will Anel Tanovic or Chaza come into the pit lane this time around? Let's have a look. No, they will not. So Chaza's going to have to do it the hard way. Maybe a move up the inside into turn 1. He's a little bit far back and he's in a championship position, so he won't want to be doing that. He's thinking about it, psyching Anel Tanovic out. They both go super wide. That's a testament to some aquaplaning, as none of them can stop. JD and Ragnar pit to testify that a little bit more. Aquaplaning in turn 1 causing both of them to just go straight on the braking, but Chaza gets the position anyway, and these guys are playing with life and death in terms of the title in these heavy rain conditions, staying out on the int as well.
Yeah, because the rain is falling heavier, but we have 16 cars driving around on a pretty short track, so they could dry up the line a little bit. It remains to be seen. Only if you're driving those cars you could know if the grip is decent enough to stick on the inter tires, or if it's too slippery and you have to go on the full wet tires. But as I said, we have so many cars driving around. The circuit is very short, so we still see a pretty, not gonna say dry, but less wet line where all the cars are passing by. So yeah, you see big slides at the exit of the corner when you try to put the power down, but still they seems to be pretty competitive at the moment, so they definitely have track position now. So this is looking good for Chaza. Let's see how the situation unfolds in the next few laps.
Yeah, exactly. We just saw a little bit of a demonstration on track of the difference in grip between Inters and Wets as KLC and Nibbler, when Nibbler was reluctant to give up the position, but KLC forced the issue, actually forced him over the curbs with the rear of his cars. I'm sure Nibbler might have something to say about that, because Nibbler's under pressure now a little bit from Sanchez. Jessica also on the wet tyres, and just look how easy it is to outbrake Nibbler around the outside and then swoop back in on the inside. This is a visual demonstration, Valeria, of the traction difference. Actually, he got that a little bit wrong. Nibbler is going to fancy a little move to come back. Nibbler, an interesting performance this season. A man who was winning races last season really found himself struggling to even be in the points this season. So not a good transition for Nibbler, but you can just see the wets are just literally driving away from the inters, and the grip difference is huge when you put the two side by side. But I'm guessing these guys are basing their decisions on long run pace rather than straight up traction battles that the likes of KLC and Francis have just proved over KLC. As KLC's next target, Val, is Anel Tanovic at 4/10 of a second.
Yeah, that's a clear demonstration. Full wet tires are the tires to be on at this moment, but we also do not know the weather forecast, unfortunately, whereas those guys do know. So maybe they predict the rain to ease off a bit by the end of the race. They're gonna try to stay on the Indus to save an extra pit stop. Who knows it? I mean, we just need to wait and see, but from the looks of things, rain is just getting heavier and heavier. The track is getting very, very wet, And now KLC is making a move on the Force India. Let's see the power of under braking. Yeah, you can see how the full wet tires just give him more grip, and it makes light work of the Force India. Is now up into P7 and is right behind Chaza, who is in P6 on intermediate tires.
Now this could be detrimental because Chaza fighting for the title, KLC fighting for the race win. Will Chaza choose to just lay over and let him through at the sake of staying in the race, not having accidents, not losing any parts of his bodywork, and hoping that because he's in a good position right now. Despite KB in the lead, Chaz has made significant gains to be up in P6, despite some other cars pitting, of course. But Chaz is in a good position. KLC's on an absolute offensive storm, trying to get back and minimise the gap to KB Killer Zone when it comes time for KB and Blizzard to finally pit. So KLC needs to make as much moves as he can, and Altanovic under pressure from Francis Jessica. I'm sure that's going to be a repeat of KLC this time around, but the interesting thing to watch will be KLC. Will Chaza just simply get out of the way and say, look, I don't want anything to do with this. This isn't my fight. I'm in a title fight. I've got to think about what I'm doing here. Francis Jessica, I think, will be the one to make the move on this straight rather than KLC, though. As we can see, Francis right in the slipstream. Oh, on the outside, off the track on the green stuff. Look how much he's forced to the outside by Altanovic. Does the switchback Ricardo style. Luckily, the wet tyres are there for him to allow to make a move. Altanovic tries to keep it around the outside. Will try a switchback, but just look at how much is working the steering wheel. The traction is not there, and has to succumb to their position. Very, very aggressive defence from the Pink Panther of the Force India's KLC up the inside of Chaza. Then now we will see how offensive Chaza will be. Chaza, look how much he's defending against KLC. I'm honestly surprised. I would have thought he'd let him through. He's got a title to think about here, but he's trying to hold up KLC as much as possible. And in doing that, he's actually hindering himself because KB Killer Zone is the one KLC is fighting, Val.
But these guys have been banging wheels so many times in the recent races. I'm sure Chaza has got a point to prove here. Probably KLC will eventually overtake him because of the better grip of his tires. That's what I was talking about, you can see. But Chaza wanted to say, okay, I'm not just gonna make room for you, you're gonna have to fight, and he probably tried to make him lose a bit of time as well, because, you know, Chaza has been complaining quite a lot in recent races about KLC making him lose time when they were fighting. But now look at Chaza, he's coming back at him. Wow.
We have that happening there, and Cliffy in the meantime has decided to pit, but for more intermediates, Valeria. So what is going on here? And look how long Cliffy's been held in the pit lane. He must have had a 5-second stop-go penalty somewhere during all of that. So a nightmare for Cliffy. He's lost so much time, but he's out again on the intermediates. Now, was it just a heavy shower that KLC has linked upon? Maybe the pressure of leading a race for the first time or battling for the win for the first time has caused him to make a little bit of error in judgment here, because it looks like it was just a heavy shower and the experienced heads out there have decided to just drive through it. And could this be just an unnecessary extra pit stop for KLC? Because Cliffy has pitted and put on a fresh set of intermediates. Kevin Jacobs in the pits. This will be interesting. The first man to go onto the wets. Will he go back on the intermediates? Can you see that, Val? Yes, he will. So everyone back on the inters, and I think KLC's made a mistake then. I think it was just a heavy shower. The others have decided to drive around it, whereas KLC thought it was going to be a bit more longer lasting than it was, Val.
Yeah, so that's mean I've been pretty good at predicting what was going to happen. I said maybe just a heavy shower, then following the track is going to dry up and they're going to go back to intermediate. So the guys that did not stop, they were betting on the track to dry up again, which looks to be the case. So yeah, this has spoiled a bit the battle for the lead. We had like 5 cars fighting at the beginning of the race.
Sorry to cut you off, Valeria, but KLC's just picked up a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Could that be the end of his race here today in terms of the win?
He goes back to intermediate tires and didn't serve the time penalty, so he will either have to serve it at the next stop or it will be added to his final race time. In any case, there's a massive setback to his chances, because yeah, it's really hard to understand now in which position he's gonna rejoin compared to the others, because of course he's made 1 extra pit stop, but certainly it looks like the guys that benefited most from all this chaos due to the rain, they are Blizzard and KB Killer Zone in P1 and P2.
So there we can see, will the top two begin to blink as they see everybody around them start to pit? Because that will be when it gets interesting, and KLC has made an extra pit stop than pretty much everyone is battling as KB Killerzone into the pits. Will Blizzard follow him? Yes, he will. So they believe the time for new inters is now. And what a mistake. Blizzard picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's another battle for the lead that's going to be hindered by this today. KB Killerzone being very good at not getting penalties today, and that is helping him quite a lot. Out the pit lane will go the both of them back on the intermediate tyres. They lose a position to Maverick, who decides to stay out, trying to nurse the tyres. And look who else is staying out and is actually going to come out, perhaps ahead of his title rival.
This is gonna be very interesting, of course. KB and Blizzard is gonna have fresh rubber, so they're gonna be much quicker. But yeah, it's nice to see those two guys back at the front together, because in recent races Chaz has been having quite a torrid time, but he belongs to the front, so it's great to see him back up there again. As I told you before, he won one race more than KB. Chaz won 4 races this season to KB 3. But a man that won the last 3 consecutive races is Blizzard, and was in contention before he picked up that 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As you said, KB looks to be the more consistent and more clean driver today, making less mistake, not cracking under pressure, just keeping it clean, very clever with the tyre strategy. He might be on a good chance to go back to win races again. And what a way it would be to win the championship as well.
Yeah, I think that's quite down to the fact as well. He knows the position he is in terms of the title today. He's got to get it clean cut because he could win the championship today. But he might be about to go out mano with his title rival. No, because Maverick and Chazza will now decide to pit for those intermediate tyres at last, as will a Renault. I believe a Ragnar just pitted in there. So KB Killerzone resumes to the lead of the race. And did staying out that long hinder Chazza that much? We'll have to see where Chazza comes back out. He was P6 roughly before he overtook the lights of everyone else that was pitting, and he comes out P7, so he's lost a position to someone, and I think he's actually lost a position to potentially Maverick. I think Maverick might have done oh no, it's Ollie Flavel. Ollie Flavel I think is still yet to pit in the Force India. He is up into P3, is the youngster in the Force India, and he's been chased down by Cliffy, who is battling for that podium. According to, we've got some interesting information here for us in the live track Valeria that we've been desperate to find, and it's unfortunately from the man who DNF'd in Galactic Skull 2. Our condolences to your accident, but he says that the weather forecast says it's supposed to dry at the end of the race.
That's interesting. I said as the race was starting that I was looking forward to a dry race. Well, for sure it has been thrilling so far, so that's very fine, but yeah, having a dry race. Oh, and Ragnar picks up a penalty. Oh, speaking of Ragnar, I mean, he pitted for Inter tires. It was in full wet first, then he went back to Inter's. Then I think he crashed because the lap before he pitted for Inter's, and then he was back into the pit lane for a new front wing. So I think he crashed out and he's now dropped back to the very last place. 3 stops for him, whereas the top 4 drivers just pitted once. But yeah, that might be all about to change if we get a dry track by the end of the race. So we might yet see many more pit stops, many more position changes. This race is definitely a thriller.
Yeah, and both of them getting super hot. I'm talking about Ollie Flavel and Cliffy, of course. They're both trying to outbrake each other into turn 1, and they both just went straight on. So no harm, no foul for both of them there, but Ollie Flavel is losing the rear end of this Force India. I'm going to quickly change the detailing position. Ollie Flavel has pitted. When did Ollie Flavel pit, Valeria? Because he has made so many positions to be up in the podium. He's battling for legitimate position at the moment. Where did Ollie Flavel pit? Because look how much time he has gained. He was down in P12 earlier, and he's now in P3, sorry, battling Cliffy for the podium. Mega strategy by the Force India, Val.
Yeah, I think we missed his stop, but yeah, definitely the big...
Oh, Cliffy!
Oh my goodness, look at Cliffy! Wow, almost losing the car there over the grass. Jesus, quite an airy moment for him. But yeah, that just helped the Force India to gain a bit of time over the Williams. But yeah, the big losers of all these damp, wet race are definitely KLC and Francis Jessica. We have someone crashing out.
Yeah,
Is that Anel?
it's Anel Tanovic, I think, is another big loser you can add to that list now.
Yeah, unfortunate for him because he was having great battles at the start of the race. But yeah, definitely Francis Jessica in the Sauber and KLC in the Williams. They were initially fighting for the win. They were in the top 5 positions, and now they dropped to P5 and to P9 respectively. The big gainer, as you said, it's Olli Flavel in the Force India. He made up so many places, and we were speaking of him at the beginning of the race. He had a very clean start, managed not to get hit by anyone, which was something he complained the races before, that he has been always taken out by someone. This time, looks like things are falling in place for him.
Our keen-eyed, eagle-eyed viewer of Galactic Skull 2 is actually using the spectate feature now as well to watch the rest of the race, Valeria, and he's informed us that it was Dafid and Anel Tanovic that came together, which caused Anel Tanovic to go off the road the way he did. So, potential steward's inquiry for yourself at the end of the day. But at least we know what happened to Anel. He's come together somewhere with Dafid, and I'm sure that will be looked into a little bit later. Cliffy closed the gap back to Olli Flavel by a second, so it's obvious that Olli Flavel doesn't quite have the pace to match Cliffy, but he's had such an amazing strategy, almost driver of the day potential in terms of strategy, because he's come from nowhere. He lost so many positions at the start, and he's gained them all back, and Chazza picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings of corner cutting, I can only assume. So that's going to be a little bit detrimental. He's got to have to try gain a 3-second gap on anyone he finishes ahead of. Within a second now is Blizzard to KB Killerzone as well. So things starting to light up on the front 2 rows. The front 3 rows actually, because Maverick is closing in on KLC. So second closing in on first, fourth closing in on third, and sixth closing in on fifth, Val.
Yeah, sometimes this season we had stages, middle stages in the races where it got quite boring, but not the case today. We have been having action from the very start of the race, and yeah, Chaz has picked up a penalty, but he's probably just pushing flat out, trying to do his very best because he knows that his position is not good enough. He has to gain 10 points today. 10 points on KB if he wants to have a chance to go to Abu Dhabi, win the race with KB DNF scoring no points, and then he would win the championship by 1 point. But it's looking very unlikely because KB has been so consistent this season, so it's unlikely he will not finish the race in Abu Dhabi, but it's also very difficult for Shaza to finish ahead of KB today, let alone score 10 points more than him. So he's just probably driving flat out in anger, just giving everything he's got because he can feel the championship is slipping through his fingers. And in the meantime, KB is enjoying a healthy lead of almost 2 seconds at the front, with Blizzard yet to serve that time penalty picked up for speeding in the pit lane. Olli Flavel under terrific pressure from the Williams of Cliffy. We were saying at the beginning of the race that Cliffy is very good in the rain. He's proving to be the case today.
Yeah, just keeping my eye on the 2 Welshmen of Dafib and Callum J. Spencer going at it. Of course, if you remember, they had boxing gloves on instead of racing gloves at Sepang when they were banging wheels on a whole nother level. But it seems they're being a little bit more respectful to each other in the rain as Callum J. Spencer tried to find a way past, but Dafid just so good on the brakes, being able to keep that position. So we'll quickly turn our attention back to Cliffy because he's closer than he's been in a long time to Olli Flavel as we come up to turn 1. Will he be able to do anything about it? Olli Flavel looks to try and keep the car in the middle of the circuit. Cliffy doesn't really have anywhere to go, but he closes in so much on the braking as a result of that.
Our race leader picks up a penalty.
Very, very interesting. So that evens him out with Blizzard once again. So if Blizzard passes him, that is legitimate on-track stuff. As Cliffy trying to look for another way past Olli Flavel, looks to the outside of turn 3, trying to set up a move maybe to get the better run into the next section of corners. Is he going to be able to do it? Who's got the better run here? Cliffy's just marginally got the better run, I think, but nowhere to go with it in this section of the track. Or is Cliffy going to force a way through? He got very close there. Will he throw it up the inside of this next corner? No, he will not. Olli Flavel goes ultra defensive to that apex on the inside. Cliffy remaining patient. But I'm going to quickly turn my attention back to Callum J. Spencer and Daffy because they're side by side through turn 1 once again. 2 Welshmen going at it. It's a very tricky keep our eye on all the action. We'll try to catch as much as we can, because look at that, Daffyd weaving left and right, trying to break the slipstream. Carl J. Spencer in that slipstream, then looking to go around the outside. It's going to be a long way to do that. Is he going to try switch back? Yes, he is. Is he going to get the better run? He is actually getting the better run, and he's almost pushing the Toro Rosso through the next section of corners. Looking to the outside once again on the Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso has the inside line, and nowhere for Carl J. Spencer to go unless he can sneak it up the inside in the next corner. We've seen that happen a few times today. Yes, from an awful long way back, the Welshman up the inside almost collides with his compatriot. No way past on this occasion. Can he go all the way around the outside? Surely not. There can't be that much grip out there. He's actually going to do it, and he gets the run for the inside of the next corner. Great racing by the two Welshmen, but now he goes a little bit wide, and that's allowed Daffyd to get back through. Fantastic stuff, and the boxing gloves are out once again for the Welshman, and we'll turn our attention back to Cliffy and Ollie Flabel for you, Val.
But that's great, terrific action, very clean racing as well. In the background we had Anel Tanovic going wide in turn 3. I had to give the place to Kevin Jacobs, who now has moved up to P14. But yeah, let's check through the field. We have as you were saying,
sorry to cut you off,
Cliffy and Ollie Flabel fighting each other very hard. The time has come for Cliffy to make his move on the inside, better traction. But Ollie has got the outside line now, becomes the inside for the next corner, and he defends the position. Probably Cliffy is gonna try again, not here. He's gonna just sit back, take the slipstream, and try and move on into turn 1. He definitely has more pace than the Force India. He's just struggling to put it into practice. You know, he has to find a place where he can overtake and make it stick, and he's probably gonna be turn 1 this lap. Round the outside, quite impressive. Oh, and he does it into turn 2. Let's see into turn 3. Ollie Flabel has got the inside again, and Ollie Flabel is ahead once more. Turn 4 incoming. The Force India is on the inside. The Williams on the outside. The Williams has got better traction. Has got better grip. He's gonna try and move around the outside. They bang wheels, and the Force India is still there. But the Williams now has the inside for the next corner, and he's got the position. He's now gonna have to give his best to close the door in the next few corners, because the Force India may be lacking grip, but he's gonna try hard to get the position back. But the Williams looks like he's made the job. Big slide for the Force India. This sector is really hard if you have no grip on the tires, and the Williams looks to be in the best position to conserve the position. Cliffy moves up to P3, back again. And he's now gonna have to push really hard because he's dropped so many seconds behind the leading duo of KB and Blizzard. Just going back quickly, Toby, to the penalty KB picked up. It was a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, whereas Blizzard has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So still 2 seconds advantage KB.
Interesting, great racing all around the board, but the next set of racing is about to begin as we have KLC versus Maverick versus Chazza. This one has championship implications as Maverick looks to go at the inside of KLC, bangs the rear wheel of that Williams driver and almost gets a little bit sideways himself doing that. Who gets the better run out of the Red Bull and the Williams? It looks like the Red Bull is going to get the better run, looks to the inside but doesn't have the straight line speed, has to pull back in for a little bit of slipstream and now retake up the inside, but that's allowing Chazza to have a look around the outside. Maverick on the inside, KLC on the outside. Who holds this one? They're slowing each other up, banging side pods together now. Thank God there's no side pod glitch in this game, because that would have been an airplane crash. But aggressive defending once again from KLC, sees him keep P5, and Chazza looking all the more interested, just has to sit back, wait a little bit, because he knows that the way these guys are going at it, hammer and tong, there's going to either be tears or there's going to be an opportunity. Chazza looks faster than Maverick through this sector, so looking like he's at least going to stay with the Red Bull, prepared to go against the Williams once again. They just got to follow each other a little bit through this little snaking sector, the sector with not a lot of overtaking opportunities, but now they come up to the main opportunity generating sector now as they come out of the penultimate corner and get ready for a drag race once again. It looks like Chazza actually got a better run than Maverick out of that corner, and he'll have a lovely dose full of slipstream. I'm sure we'll get the full positions up. Chazza playing it very dangerous on fuel, very close to his fuel limit, and therefore can't go in rich, as Maverick went into rich a little bit to try challenge KLC, or at least minimize the gap coming into turn 1. And we do it all again, getting ready for turn 3. Maverick 2/10 of a second behind. JD7 Pitts, who gets the better run out of this section. It seems the run is pretty much the one that can decide if you're going to have a run or not, because it looks like Chazza got the better run that time. Is he going to be able to challenge? No, he's not, showing a little bit of respect. No dive bombs from the Mercedes this time around. And these 5, 6 and 7, Val, all doing battle very closely.
Yeah, and KLC must be furious. He had a pole position, he was leading the race, and then he got a wrong tire call, and that basically made him throw away his race. But the pace is still there. The pace is still there, and he's fighting with, you know, 2 drivers that has won races this season. Maverick has won 2 Grand Prix in the early stages of the championship, and Chazza, of course, is still in the championship hunt, albeit his hopes might be a bit slim at the moment, but still. Oh, and KLC goes wide, hit the polystyrene board, and now lost a lot of time because Maverick is gonna have a good run up the hill, and maybe could be close enough into turn 1 to make a move. But the trio looks to be, oh, they cut the pit entry line. That's not allowed. I mean, in real life that will earn them a penalty. But no moves into turn 1. They still maintain the distance, but those trios really close, And in the meantime, we have Seppi getting closer and closer to Kevin Jacobs for P13. Big slide for Seppi. And but yeah, let's focus on this battle for P5.
Oh.
And we have, wow.
Just want to point out really
Maverick,
quick, Val.
yeah.
We have in the live chat speaking that Christopher Pedersen saying that the rain has stopped, and more interesting to that, have a look who is on the super soft tyres, and it's not worked out for him. Huge crash for JD7, and he is out of the Grand Prix. JD7 gambled on the dry tyres, and in the fastest section of the track, he has had an airplane crash in that McLaren, Val, and is out of the race. Another DNF for JD7. Gambled too early, but we're very close to dry tyre time, but not quite yet, and I'm sure that will scare every strategist in this grid into not pitting for a few more laps at least, as JD7 has seen enough and leaves the session, Val.
We got Hanel in the pit lane. Let's see, he goes on the slick tires as well, so he's gonna try the very same gamble that killed JD just moments ago. So it's gonna be very interesting to keep an eye on the posting. Of course, those drivers at the back of the pack, they got nothing to lose, so they can gamble on the dry tires, on a drying track. It does make sense, but do we have another crash, Toby? I didn't catch up.
Sorry to cut you off again, Val, but Maverick tried to dive bomb up the inside of KLC and just thunder-punted into the side of it, and that's now allowed Chazza to have a little bit of a go. On the grass, Maverick forced onto the grass by KLC. That's a bit of unfair defending from KLC, in my opinion. Forced him, and now he's slammed on the brakes as we have a virtual safety car. KLC slammed on the brakes on the virtual safety car. Maverick had nowhere to go and lost a chunk of front wing on the rear of that Williams. That is horrible stuff, but this is essentially a free pit stop for anyone who needs to get on them slick tyres now, and that all started with Maverick coming from a long way back and just T-boning the side of the Williams, which prompted the Williams to get aggressive on his defence and kind of brake checked him in that turn 3, and Maverick, no time to react, loses a chunk of front wing. And look at these guys actually battling side by side. The virtual safety car, I think, has just ended as them two tried to go side by side and basically stopped. That almost allowed the Force India on the slick tyres to unlap himself during all of that chaos, and we will see who will get the run, but I expect most, if not all, of these guys to pit this time. I think we might see a battle of Red Bull and Mercedes into the pit lane, Val.
Yeah, Nibloy, Callum and David, the big gainers of the virtual safety car, they all pitted on the VSC to put on slick tires, so they minimize the time loss. But those guys are still out on the inters. It's interesting to see their pace compared to the slick runners. But yeah, we have Ollie Flavel really close to Cliffy for P3. That's another interesting fight we might keep an eye on. But yeah, it's a crucial stage in the race now, because the track is definitely drying up quickly, and we still have 15 cars circulating and drying up the race line. So yeah, it's gonna be a very important stage in the race to define the pole position.
So there you have it. Everybody in the top 9 remaining on the intermediates for now. Callum J. Spencer will head the slick tyre charge on the Super Sauce. He will likely be the biggest gainer in all of this once they start pitting, because Kevin Jacobs is going to be the first to pit. Callum J. Spencer picks up that first position. Francis Jessica actually lapping Anel Tanovic. That's not a move for position. I apologise for getting a little bit excited about that one, but surely the top guys have got to pit now. They're going to be losing heaps of time. What are the leaders going to do? The leaders of Blizzard and KB stay out. Cliffy decides to pit. He's going to be the first of the big dogs at the front to pit for them slick tyres. Anel Tanovic, Maverick and Chaz are going side by side. Who's going to pit this time? Maverick into the pit lane for some slick tyres. Once again, we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. Who is that from? It's Ragnar. Ragnar off the circuit in the grass. Surely the ex-Renault teammate of Valeria Campagnaro will not like to see that, but Cliffy has gone on to soft tyres for 6 laps. Did he use all his super softs in qualifying, perhaps, Valeria?
That's strange. That's interesting, because we have guys on the inters, guys on the slicks, and 2 different compounds being used now. We got just 6 laps to go. So yeah, super soft would be the obvious choice, but as you said, probably they bring them all out in qualifying. Ragnar's got front wing damage. He's gonna pit again. It's like his 5th stop of the race. Not a great day in the office for the Renault driver, but yeah, I mean, the top driver is still out on inter tires, and we had Cliffy pitting for dries, and that's kind of the same tactics that almost won the race to him in Singapore. So it's gonna be very interesting.
Sorry to put you off, Val, but KB Killerzone now pits, as does Blizzard. And when was the last time we saw Cliffy pit against the leaders for dry tyres? And a certain man who made up 36 seconds over the course of a lap and a half in Singapore to win the race on paper. Penalties denied him. Could we see a similar situation here then? Because I think KB is going to come out in the lead comfortably. Blizzard might be under a little bit of pressure coming out of the pit lane. I think he'll be okay though. I think it's going to be Ollie Flavel and the likes of KLC and Chazza who are going to lose that position to Cliffy, as Cliffy clears Ollie Flavel already. Blizzard comes out the pit lane, but Cliffy's getting a lot of time on Blizzard. But these guys on softer compound tyres, and there's Cliffy in the background of Cliffy exiting. So Cliffy getting a lot of time. KLC is made a position as well. Chazza up in P5 right now. Nibbler has retired from the session. Is that an accident? No, it's not. It's a manual retirement from the Australian. No damage on the Red Bull. But a lot of time gained by Cliffy wasn't enough to take the win. But Chazza up into P5 after all of that. Well,
yeah, it made a lot of position. He made up a lot of positions, and but yeah, Cliffy has gained a lot of time. But he's got the harder compound, so maybe Ollie Flavel is gonna stand a chance toward the very final few laps to gain a position on him, because obviously super soft tires are gonna hit up faster, and they're gonna be quicker, as you can see. Kevin Jacobs just posting the fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
Our race leader's teammates are just going fastest of all. That's pretty impressive, but that's also confirmed the super soft tires are hitting up faster, and they're providing a lot of grip in these conditions. And Cliffy now just making me look idiot, you know, just doing the opposite on the soft tires. So Blizzard pick up a 3-second time penalty. I fail to see if we served the 5-second time penalty in the pit stop. That's probably why I lost so much time to Cliffy. I think he was standing still for 5 seconds in the pit, but now Cliffy is getting closer and closer regardless of the tire difference. Look at Cliffy, he's so much
Ragnar's
quicker.
Disqualified. Sorry to cut you off, but Ragnar has been disqualified from the Grand Prix for too many penalties.
Miserable day.
Christopher was pointing that out in the chat. He asked, how many penalties can Ragnar get before he's disqualified? And whatever number that is the answer. But one advantage I could think of Cliffy versus Blizzard is when he came out on the tire. You can see there's still a little bit of spray coming off these tires, and you can see that the track is still moist in like wetness. So Blizzard has to warm these super softs up in these conditions, whereas Cliffy's tires would have already been hot from them 2 extra laps of going around the circuit. But as soon as Blizzard's able to switch the super softs on, that is when Blizzard will start pulling away. But a fastest lap again for Cliffy as Seppi picks up another time penalty. Got to be careful he doesn't follow Ragnar. Ollie Flavel now picks up another fastest lap, trying to chase down Cliffy once again. And usually it's the end of the race that's interesting. In the middle, that's a bit more spread out. But it looks like it's the opposite way around, because the only real battle, it would seem, going on is Cliffy versus Blizzard and Maverick versus KLC. The rest are all pretty spread out, so I'm sure on the commentary booth, that's two battles, we've got two sets of eyes, and we can both keep an eye on that one. But it looks like Cliffy starting to lose touch with Blizzard now a little bit, Bell.
Yeah, that's sure. This track didn't fail to provide action and thrill. As we said before, this is a great circuit for racing. The rain was certainly gonna spice things up, and it certainly did. As you said, we still have some spray, but the track looks almost fully dry. I mean, there is still some reflection on the tarmac, so maybe just a bit damp, but definitely good enough for slick tires. Every driver is on slicks, only Maverick and Cliffy on soft tires, all the other drivers on super softs. And yeah, we have those two battles. We have KLC very close to the back of Maverick, has got faster tires. Don't forget, this guy's got pole position in qualifying. He definitely has pace around this track, but look at how many penalties drivers are picking up. They're exploring track limits. Now that the circuit is getting drier and drier, they can attack curves more aggressively, but they're overstepping the mark here and there. They are picking up time penalties. But KLC has got a great run out of turn 3. He's now gonna try to make a move around the outside into turn 4. The Red Bull is gonna try to defend on the inside line, but the Williams has got better traction, outside line, more speed, and has got the position. KLC is up to P6. And now let's look back. Cliffy, as you were saying, Toby, has dropped back a little bit from Blizzard, and look at KB comfortably sitting in the lead, 10 seconds ahead.
Could that be their championship winning performance today? It just might be. We've got some interesting talk in the live chat right now with Christoph Edson and Galactic Skull 2 counting the penalties of Ragnar, and they believe it's 12. 12 is the limit that you get, and Ragnar says his race was more like rallying rather than F1, and that might explain why he was disqualified. But he says he doesn't know what's wrong with the setup, but he could not put the power down the entire race, or the car would just spin, and therefore that's why he had to take so many exit roads, so many corner cuts, and therefore get disqualified. But KLC has gained a lot of time on Chazaval, and looks like that's his next target, but it's getting penalties like that is not going to help him in that endeavour.
I'm always holding my breath when those two drivers are getting wheel to wheel, you know. They managed to survive all the races before and in this race as well, but now we are in a situation again where KLC has got probably more pace than Chaza, and let's see if Chaza is gonna be over aggressive in defending. Not this time. This time it was KLC trying a late dive on the inside. But yeah, looks like the Williams has got more pace. He's gonna try and throw his car in every possible gap he's gonna see. Oh my goodness, they banged the wheel. They almost, oh my goodness, they touched again. Wow, how can those two guys survive? Jesus, that was really close. Now Chaz is gonna try to have a run on KLC, but we also have Maverick and Francis Jessica. They are really close, especially Maverick is having the top seat in the house to watch the two cars ahead of him battling. And now Chaz is gonna try and make a wow, and KLC predicting the late dive from Chaza on the inside, closing the door at the very last second, Max Verstappen style. This part of the race is very exciting, it's very thrilling, but we are on the final lap of the race for our race leader KB Killerzone on the final sector. Toby.
We'll have to keep our eye on KB Killerzone as he comes out the penultimate corner, but we've also got to try to keep our eye on this battle, because it could just potentially get involved in the championship with Chaza. We have to keep open-minded for Chaza until the fat lady sings. But KB Killerzone comes up to the flag now to win in Brazil, and we remain confirmation to see if he wins the championship. We'll find that out for you once everybody is safely across the line. But great effort by KB Killerzone today. Blizzard happy with his performance, gives a little weave over the line and has an accident in doing so. But what does this final battle look like? Chaz has lost touch to KLC and will not be able to get that back, and I think everybody is going to be pretty happy over the line. They're all decent gaps to each other, so unless one of them gets a superb run, I think this is your finishing order. KLC will finish in P5. Got the pole, couldn't get the win. He will have a spin as well. Chazza across the line. Maverick across the line as well. Chazza drops to P6, loses a position to Maverick on penalties. So that's a little bit upsetting for him, but at least it wasn't anything more than just that. KLC drops down to P8 because of his penalty. So that's a little bit of a saving grace for Chazza as well. And we wait on the next car of the McLaren Honda of Callum J. Spencer to come up across the line. Potentially his last Brazilian Grand Prix in NORL. A P9 will do for him today. It'll have to do. Thumbs up. He looks a little bit happy because he swoops to the wall to thank his team. And Dafid will complete your top 10, Val.
Wow, that's really a champion's drive. Terrific performance from KB. Won the race after controlling the pace, controlling his car perfectly. Didn't make any mistake, just picked up a penalty. When the track was drying up a bit, every driver was pushing hard. And you can see how excited he is, because really terrific performance. To win the championship by winning the race, I think is probably the best thing you can possibly have. And this guy has been so fast the whole season, and really terrific performance from him today. No mistakes, kept calm, kept collected, and really a driving lesson for everyone. KLC is gonna be really angry because dropping back due to penalties from pole position to P8 after a wrong tire strategy. But he's shown flashes of brilliance, as he said. It's gone very good today. But yeah, for sure, the man of the day is KB Killerson, winning the 2017 NORL Formula 1 Championship, becoming our 6th rookie champion in 8 seasons. We always had rookie champions in the history of NORL Formula 1. So this is quite an interesting statistic. But yeah, congrats to him. He has had a great season. And congratulations to all the drivers that finished in the race. Of course, it was quite a thriller. So many condition changes. And so, yeah, congrats to all those 13 drivers that finished the race.
So there you have it, confirmation from the horse's mouth that KB Killerzone is your F1 2017 NORL champion. He takes that trophy away from Christopher Pettersson and wins the title. Nibbler showing his displeasure in the lobby of the likes of KLC. But that is that. Join us next time, though, next week at Abu Dhabi, because there is still positions in the championship to be decided. Although the championship at the front has been decided, there are still many other battles to be decided next time out at Abu Dhabi. So do not miss it. Next time at 8:30 p.m. GMT time. I will be there. Valeria will be there. That has been Valeria. I'm Toby, but thank you so much, Valeria, for joining me in the box once again today. We crown a new champion today. And next time out, we will see how the rest of the standings line up as we head out to the deserts, the duel under the desert lights of Abu Dhabi. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, goodbye.